We're live.
Oh shit, we are back. This is Prime Minds episode number 21. And I think that there's just the three of us here. The three kings. Well, not all kings, but you know me. It's King Dav, By the Dip, Z Mackin. We're all together. And actually, we are all kings, man. How you guys doing today? Where we at? First week of September?
Oh man, doing great, dude. Been DJing a little bit, trying to escape this heat, and here with my Prime brothers on this weekend doing what I love to do, man.
Bet. Mac, just the three of us, bro. How you feeling?
I'm so excited that the weekend is here, dude. It was a long week of work, and the smokes rolled in to Western Washington from everywhere around here, so I'm trying to just relax and enjoy what I can of it. But, always excited to be here with my brothers.
My man, what's the smokes? What am I missing?
Oh, there's wildfires all over, like in the middle of a wildfire circle in the ocean, so...
You guys are fucking burning up on the West Coast. What the fuck?
Yeah, bro, there's ashes on my car this morning, and it just gets ashes and raining. Gotta love it, right?
Oh, shit. You guys gotta come to Michigan, man. I feel like we're gonna be an environmental, what's it called? Like, safety place. Refuge. Something like that. Anyway, I'll get the land from us. I'll get the land for us.
Yeah, there's some dude over there that lives in Detroit that's probably gonna be running in the future, so I might be over there sometime.
I got the connects, man. Anyway, bro, like it's the three of us, man. But there's I think this might be a family episode, so we're gonna invite some folks on throughout the episode if they want to pop on and talk. It could be a short one, it could be a long one. I think for me personally, there's pretty much just one thing that I want to talk about. Maybe there's a few other things happening, but we got some fucking alpha, guys. I think alpha is usually in the Web3 sense of the word, and NFTs and all that. Alpha is usually a good thing, but I think it's just like some news. I wonder if there's a thing called reverse alpha, like bad alpha, because just to be in all transparency, which is if you listen to us, we keep it real, we keep it transparent. I think in CA there is some reverse alpha these past couple of weeks. Does anybody care to explain what we learned? I think it's one major thing.
These things are tricky, right?
What did we learn? What is the fact? We're only talking the facts, right? No commentary, no opinions. What is the fact we learned about CA this past? What was it? 5 days ago? 4 days ago? I mean, there's a lot of bullet points, but it's one overarching thing. They
dropped out some major bullet points, and then the one thing though, when you reread the bullet points, and let's see, I'll pull them up so I can read them verbatim for you guys.
Yep, I have them on the screen too for the audience.
Oh God,
you guys can read them.
Oh, you got them up? Yeah, I guess we can go through the bullet points if you want to, but I think there's one major implication. But you know what?
Exactly.
I'm gonna stop setting us up. Here's a major implication as it applies to King Dev. The major implication is, or the major thing, and implications are several, is that it is not Prime Eternals that are the exclusive source of acquiring land in Champions Ascension.
Nope.
Prime Eternals are not the exclusive source of acquiring land in Champions Ascension. To which, what I think was common knowledge before this. But go ahead, Mackin.
Yeah. Their verbatim says, when you read it correctly, it says some types of land will only be available for Messina. Other types of land may be available for ETH or other forms of currency.
Right. I think that's the major one that stuck out.
And I think they separated it so that they didn't want people to put that together like that. Because that is essentially saying we are offering other land for other currencies than Messina, which all of us had been led to believe, and that is a major turnaround. Which, like you said, alpha, because that's brand new information. First time anybody heard it was earlier this week. So
reverse alpha,
brother.
Let's coin a new term in Web3 called reverse alpha. Wah wah wah. Let everybody down.
But
and so I think real quick to that point is like this was also the reason. Me personally, I can't speak for everybody. That's why I like that this is a family show. this is the reason I bought Prime Eternals in the first place. One, it was like the exclusive source of acquiring land in a Web3 NFT play-to-earn video game, which I know is the future. We talked about it. You can listen to all of our episodes and talk about how we know, like, gaming is a future of Web3 and NFTs, and play-to-earn gaming is going to be just gaming. And so acquiring land in a good project, a game that I thought is probably still going to be a good game. But then I bought under the pretenses that these Prime Eternals will be the way to get the land. And I held for, like, we're going on almost a fucking year, right? Seasons have changed. And I've held since now to find out that this is not the only exclusive source. I could have held ETH, I could have held Fiat up until the point where they introduce land and buy the land instead of buying the Prime Eternals. That's my piece. Go ahead, Dip, you're going to say something.
Yeah, and you know, that's what I thought too. So a lot of us got the wrong impression. Right, and that's the whole thing about transparency is that's why we need it, right? So we are on the same page. The team has done you guys have done a wonderful job, and I'm talking to T, I'm talking to Ice Toad, I'm talking to my guy Oscar Hobbs. Like, I love those guys. Messina, love those guys, man. You guys are doing a great job, wonderful job, for reals. I think this is going to be an awesome game. The only thing that's just the whole time it's just been transparency, because even reading this, just to be honest, from an investor's standpoint, from reading these bullet points right here, it really got me asking more questions than my questions being answered. And that makes people feel uncomfortable, and that's why and some people are going through different times during their lives, right? We don't know what other people are going through. Some of our holders or family here has invested all their savings into this because they believe in this project and they love this project so much. Some people, this is the only project that they're in now, right? They're all about Champions. I mean, this podcast, we're mostly dedicated to Champions Ascension because we're 100% on the ride with you guys. The only thing is this transparency, and it does scare a lot of people because from an economic standpoint, if you're telling me that I'm controlling the land, that's a big thing for me, right? Like, that's why I went in, and I was wrong, right, of thinking that way. But I got thinking in, like, okay, well, the only way someone's going to be able to get land is buying it from me. So essentially the community is setting the line or the marketplace for the land, which
right.
I thought was great. I was like, oh my God, like, because land's a huge thing, right? And then on top of that, by them having to buy blueprints and by them having to buy upgrades for their buildings, etc., they would have to pay for it in Messina coin. That's an extra. And I don't think that's changed. The one big thing that I think bothers a lot of the community is that you're going to have outside people with a lot of money, with a lot of dough. They're going to come into this game, and if they can buy the land for ETH or outside currency, they can take up all the land or all the good land. There is a lot of questions, right? Like, certain
they don't have to stake anything to get it, right, either. So they don't have to wait. You just come in with however much ETH you want to spend. You don't have to have a Prime Eternal, and you don't have to have them staked to earn the Messina coin to buy the land. You just fucking buy it. Right. With ETH, with Fiat, with whatever. It could be anything.
Right. And that's the thing, because it's like, well, you took this thing away from some of the holders, which it is. It's a big part of land. Like, if you tell me, that I go from controlling all the land to only certain land, now, it leaves a lot of questions. That's what I'm trying to get to. It leaves a lot of questions, and we're not going to have an update until later this year. So the biggest problem with that is you're letting people sit on this, and we're thinking about it, and people are going to come up with stuff, right? Naturally, as human beings, that's what we do. We speculate. And the only reason why we speculate is because there's not enough information given. So
right.
Not only that, but we speculate based on the information that we do have and the way that things have gone in the past. Mm-hmm. So not only do you get speculation for the positive, for all the positive actions that has been done by the team in the development, but you're going to get speculations in the negative from all of the negative interactions that we've also had, right? So not only I know the Prime Minds have done lots of speculation already, and we have our thoughts on which way it can go. But the one thing that has been made abundantly clear, based on all the dealings that we've had with Champions Ascension, is that we are still dealing with $1 billion company.
Right.
Yeah, and this is a business venture. No matter what we may think as what we got into it when it was pre-mint and leading up to mint and everything right after mint, it's definitely been shown that this is being treated like a business.
It's a business venture for them and for us too.
Correct.
And then at this point, so they're doing, like, as a business, so they're looking for the profits, right? I mean, they made very good profits off of us already. They created digital assets, and they made millions of dollars off of the mint and the trading happening. And they're just looking into how to maximize their profits, just like any business would, right? And my bet on this project was that they're going to maximize their project by taking care of their initial fan base and the people that can help spread the word organically for them and help spread their brand as a very good player in the Web3 and NFT space, and making a great fucking game and sharing in that success with their original OG holders, which is how I thought they were going to maximize their profits. But it looks like they're just trying to fucking maximize profits at every turn. Because when you think about it, land is going to be a very big source of revenue. I mean, it makes sense, right? I'm a fucking shareholder of Jam City or Champions Ascension or anybody that has a financial stake in this that's not a holder. I'm saying you're not giving all that fucking land to people who just because they fucking bought early. What the fuck are you talking about? No, we're going to sell this on the market for ETH. And we're going to fucking take most of those profits too. And I'm like, get that shit done. And unfortunately, that's what's happening.
It just, if you take,
trust me,
if you
just
take,
mic drop moment. Rewind that shit and play it again. That's what happened. If you're taking most of the profits off of the land instead of sharing it with us.
So the biggest thing is, obviously they're taking something away, okay, but they're creating some sinks. Would love to know what more information about the sinks. Right, because if you're taking away a portion of that land from the holders, what are you gonna replace that with us? That's what I want to know. And the biggest thing I think with this is, I would love to have a serious AMA with the economy guy. I mean, hey, I know everybody's busy. We're all busy. We do this podcast for an hour every week, maybe more. We all got full-time careers. Dav and Z are fathers. They have a family they take care of. So yeah, we respect everybody's time. But if the
we go hard,
right? If
me and Z go hard, but we make our children proud.
Yeah, if we can get some type of AMA or something, and this is just talking to CA with the economy guy, 15 minutes, 10 minutes. And that's pretty much all some people need, just to ask the questions that they're concerned about. And I know one of our community members, Arkham, which Arkham and Predx are backstage, so we will be bringing you guys up in a little bit, has proposed a great document with questions pertaining to the new alpha coming out that I think is very, very important for us to address.
No, I love the way Arkham is organizing that thing, to organize the thoughts of people, kind of get a feel of what the community has to say, and it's just like putting everything down on paper, which is a good way to communicate things, and say, here's the things we're concerned about. Can we get answers to these items here? Right?
What's up, Pred?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah. The homie Pred, man, I just went on a tangent over here, man. I know you're, in my eyes, man, you're like an economy expert. You know your stuff, bro. What do you think on this? Like, we're talking about one thing here, man. We're just talking about like what we just learned about the land and Prime Eternal holders and the news that came out.
Yeah, fair enough. I wouldn't necessarily call anyone necessarily an expert unless you were, working with Axie or any other major businesses in this space, I would say. But I think if you do relate it to economics and finance, it's fairly transparent in the way that it works, right? So there's different ways to take it. I think, and I've already said a couple of things, I think, in general chat and CA, but overall, I thought the changes were okay. A lot of these are proposed and maybes, right? So we don't necessarily know what the final say is going to be. But if Messina is continually generated with primes, then there shouldn't be too much of an issue. Again, if there's going to be a Gen 2 drop and they're going to be also generating some amount of tokens, it needs to be representative of the cost for those Eternals, let's say, or whatever else happens to come after that. And as long as the sync that they implement are substantially outweighing the Messina generated, and I'm not too sure what the ratio has to be, but very likely, 1 to 3 ratio. So there's always something for us to spend our Messina on. Then, technically speaking, it's something that should be okay and balanceable, right? They just need to add more things for people to spend the Messina on, and the tokens will still have substantial value. So in that sense, that's why I'm not overly negative on it. I'm kind of right in the middle, because this kind of just gives them a little bit more opportunity to be a bit more creative. So as long as you trust the team and they're able to give us some transparency on their ideas of how they're going to be implementing these things and kind of what's the vision, then I think the whole community could get behind it. But I think everyone's opinion is fairly valid, and maybe the community can speak on it a little bit more in the future.
I appreciate that, man. I want one thing of that. I don't want to sound negative, Fred, or anybody, but I kind of gave up on asking for transparency. I think I even said that, like, I'm not asking for transparency anymore. We spent months asking for transparency. So I can only go off the information that I know at this point. And so one thing of that is, actually, when it comes to Messina, we can stake PEs, Prime Eternals, and still get Messina, but even based on those bullet points they shared with us, is the Elementals or anybody can earn Messina while playing, which I think is actually, it's good to get people bought in the game, but I think you just said, is we don't know the ratios to what we can earn by staking and what people can earn by playing. And it could diminish the value, or it can make it make sense. But
not only that,
someone else.
That sentence that they talk right there leaves it so ambiguous when they say it, because they do say that staking a Prime Eternal will be the only source of, or you can only generate by staking your Prime Eternal, but other champions can also earn it. And then it says while Prime Eternals will still earn by staking, or generate by staking. But it doesn't say in anywhere in there that the sole generation of Messina is coming from these Prime Eternals, right? If you reread it, you could read it to say that you can earn it, but still stake at the same time, right?
Right.
You could earn and stake at the same time, but nowhere does it say that staking a Prime Eternal is the sole generation of Messina. And if after that last comment had said generated solely by staking Prime Eternals, this wouldn't even be a question. It's just too ambiguous that the way they wrote it. You could tell it had been taken time to be combed over by lawyers to make sure that it was just that ambiguous, so that they still have a lot of wiggle room on it. So that there might be the possibility of Prime staking not being the only generation of Messina.
It's funny that you say that, because the way that I look at things is CA is consistently, purposely ambiguous, right? And again, it goes to the lawyer speak, and it's a smart way to go about business, right? Just in general, you can't kind of if I was working on the other side, I would also be doing the exact thing, right? So I'm trying to put myself mentally in their shoes, and then that's how I look into the future, right? It's like, what would I do if I was in their shoes, covering all the bases, right? And that's why I'm expecting these things, but I think they also need to realize that they're missing one core component, right? And this is the pillar that revolves around the game. One thing that the community can understand to be true, and everything else that's ambiguous will revolve around that one true aspect, right? And that's what we don't have currently, and I think that's what we're missing. And people expected that to be Messina, right? They said Messina only generatable by primes, and now we know this to be true in terms of tournaments and other things that you can earn from. I think that's fine. That breeds competition, right? But we need one pillar of truth behind the project, and I think that's what everyone's waiting for, and that's why we have a lot of different opinions on how things go, so much speculation, and because we just don't know anything to be specifically truthful throughout time.
Well, you're 100% on the dot there, except for I think that the major implication of all of this hullabaloo is the fact that the core pillar that we were led to believe pre-mint and after mint was that Messina would only be generated by Prime Eternals and would be the sole source of purchasing land. That was the only thing that I believe almost all of us thought was the one unchangeable. And that's why I think everything that's been going on over the stuff for all of this and the ambiguity in the latest announcement is causing a lot of people to have... We had 2 OG Primordials leave the project this last week. Like that, I don't know like what more the community needs to see for them to realize like this is something that we all believed, and even Icetoad was on here and said like everything's changeable, but there has to be some core things, right? So even the team is in agreement, and in my mind at least, that core pillar has now shifted.
Yeah,
I think.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say to Mac's point is like, I think the community has been suffering from this a little bit, and Arkham is up here, part of the community engagement team. I think he's going to talk a little bit about an initiative he started, but go ahead, Pred.
I was just going to touch base on, I guess, lands, right? Because that was also a proposed core pillar, and I'm going to say that as a whole, because anything in writing during the mid process should be taken, or at least could have been taken as a core pillar to this project, right? So I think CA needs to look back throughout time, and I'm sure they already have, all these screenshots and everything else that people in power have said at the time. But they need to address those and figure out which aspects of those are going to be core pillars going forward, and what things will change around those pillars, right? And you brought up a good point, land, right? We were at least led to believe to some extent that there would only be one type of land originally, at the very least, right? It didn't say specifically that this would be the only type of land, the Founder's Land. However, a lot of games, they only have certain amounts of land, right? So if there's already going to be a proposed Tier 2 land, when will that come out? What type of utility will that have relative to Founder's Land, right? Because every single other type of land, if they have the same utility, it just devalues the original. So, again, just too much ambiguity. I don't think they have the specific answers yet, which is probably why they're not coming out with specific answers. But they need to come out with something that's concrete, that we can all understand to be something that we can revolve our investment dollars around, right? Because we want to make decisions, and I want to buy more, but I just don't feel like I have enough information to pull the trigger, right? So, but that goes with most of the community as well. I don't see too many people besides one individual that's really going out of their way to continually purchase more. Everyone else is just sitting on their hands and saying, well, I need more information about this, or this, or this, right? So I think that's the biggest problem right now as well.
Yeah, I see there's almost no action on the any marketplace. I look at OpenSea, and I don't see anybody making any transactions there for primes. But Arkham, what's up, man? I think this is your first time on the show. Pred too, man. Welcome. I appreciate this. I like having this open platform.
Yeah, I love having you guys.
How you feeling? Yeah, how you feeling, man? Any reactions? I know you got something you're working on here too.
Yeah. Hello, guys. Do you hear me well?
We can hear. Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you, bud.
Perfect. Thanks for inviting me, guys. I'm sorry if I'm coughing a little bit. I'm a bit sick, but I'll try to put
you're
myself
good.
on mute if it happens.
For sure.
Yeah, I have a few things to share. So let's go. Let's take a step back for a minute about the communication topic. I think communication was a problem for quite some time now. However, those past couple months, I noticed quite a few improvements. Let me give you an example. Like, for example, Squiddy has been asking to Oscar Hobbs to come and speak with us like every 2 weeks, and I'm pretty sure everyone here will agree that we love to hear Oscar Hobbs come and explain all the things he's been doing. So to me, that's major improvement in the communication that they did, and I was pretty happy about that, to be honest. The other thing, just to give you an example, the other thing they did is it's a little thing, but still, at the beginning of each week we have this Messina week, like the announcement that is done by the team, just to tell us, this week here is what's gonna happen. It's not major improvement, but still it's something, and I just wanted to get back to that, to say they improved on a few points, and I'm pretty happy about that. But still, we have like those major topics on tokenomics, and I think they need to be addressed because it's creating a lot of frustration about the community, and that's also why I wanted to try to do something about it as a CT member. And that's why I worked actually on 2 documents. The first document was like the delayed staking reward options. So like the whole community has been providing ideas of what could be the delayed staking reward for the community, Mm-hmm. And so we listed everything in the file, and this file has been provided to Squiddy, Heteronaut, Captain Chris, the team, so that they could try to have a look at all the ideas we had and see, and try to provide us with a feedback to say, oh, those ideas maybe we could, or those ideas we will never be able to do those, just so that we can narrow down the list, and so that the day we want to do to put this topic to a vote, then we have a list that we know Jam City can do. So that's the first thing.
That's nice. Let me just for clarification. So the ideas were turned in to the community managers already?
Yeah.
Okay, and just to see which ones can actually be done, which ones are viable, which ones we can move forward with voting on is the first step. So we're waiting for a response from CA at that point. Okay.
So I could give you the link, to the file so that everyone can see what we are talking about, because the whole process has been explained in the document actually. Wow. Let me just put that. Can I put it on the YouTube channel maybe? Is it?
Yeah, that would be great. Yep.
All right. So this is the file. So I invite people that want to have a look at it to just jump in. So in this file, you will see the full list that has been sent to Jam City, and you will see the 3 steps that are described in the introduction of the document, just so you know where we are. And I could update it right now. Actually, I think we are September. Here we go, September 9th, not 10th. All right, and we are on the verge of step 3, I'm guessing, because we have the CET meeting later today, and I think that during this CET meeting we will have some kind of feedback from Jam City, to start telling us, what topic they could do and what topic they could not do. So I'm not saying they are going to answer everything, but I think they will start providing us some feedback about it. So I think it's a good thing. But this topic, the problem of this topic is that when the Messina topic came in, it became much more important, like how do we generate Messina token, and how are we gonna be able to purchase land, and then this delayed staking reward, topic was not as important as the Messina topic, and so
that took the back burner for maybe 10 days or so. I get it. So now we're on a new topic, right? It's like, well, what the new implications are of this. Yeah, so you have another process for that. Go ahead.
So yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So now, so they did the communication that they did. I mean, at least they provided us with quite a few answers, and I think thanks Jam City for that. The only problem with the communication they did is that it created also a lot of questions, additional questions, and I think that's what generated all this FUD, I don't know what we want to call it, or frustration from the community. And the problem is that when the announcement was done, everybody wanted to have those clarification right away, right? And me first, everyone, because we invested like a lot of money in the project, and we want to know, because those lands and those Messina, that was one of the biggest perks that we were supposed to have with those Prime Eternal. So definitely I understand that, but the problem is that those questions, when we put them in the Discord channel, the team like Squiddy, Heteronaut, they can't answer those questions. Because this is not their topic, they are the link in between us and between Jam City and the people that are specialized in those topics, like tokenomic and whatever. And so, and that's where I was thinking maybe instead of to put this, to focus this frustration in a single place, that would be a document. This document would list all the questions and all the answers that Jam City have been able to provide us so far. And if we see that a specific answer we are looking for is not in the file, like after the announcement, then we jump in the file and we just write the question we have. And what I would want to try to implement, if it's possible, but we'll see that with Jam City, is that I just want to build a bridge, through this file, so that we can put all the questions we have in there, and Jam City can just have a look at the questions that are going to be well organized. We are going to try to make them as well organized as we can, and they can try to answer them when they have the answer. And if they don't have the answer, they can tell us, we can't answer this question yet, but we'll make sure to do that, when we have the answer. I don't know.
Here's Art. If we had an applause track, we'd play it right now, so I'm just going to clap it up. First of all, thank you for taking the rational approach and building out a system. It kind of cuts through the noise of the back and forth in the Discord. And I don't want to talk a lot about the Discord and all that went down, right? And we could probably keep family business to ourselves, but too many emotions and negative emotions were stirred in there when there was some real and relevant questions, and kind of there's a basis for these questions. It comes from somewhere, having questions that we just want answered. So we all appreciate you just cutting through that noise and building out a process, a rational process with no attached emotion, just to get some questions answered. So thank you for that. You're the man, Ark.
Thanks, guys. I'm doing my best, because like many of us, I really believe in this project. I believe in Jam City. I think they can do amazing, and I'm sure they will do amazing. And I just don't want to see this kind of situation. If I can do something about it, then let's do something about it. And I think we should, all of us, we should try, when we see issues like that, to think about a way, to get around and to make things better, because I'm sure there are things we don't see that are happening over there, and that are not making their life easy, to communicate with us, because it's a big company, and I'm sure they have the processes, and obviously they still can improve a lot. I'm sure they can. Everybody can. I can. We all can. But at least we can. That's a way to improve, I think. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
You hit the nail on the dot, man. Even in politics, right? We never get transparency either, but we get them touching on the subject, right? For instance, hey guys, pertaining to economy, this is our biggest challenge, just this area. You don't have to go deep into detail about economy. You don't have to do none of that. The people just want to hear about the subject. The people just want to be reassured about the subject. So even if you had a representative from the tokenomics team that really can't speak on much, they can still do what it's assurance. Have assurance, hey, this is the biggest obstacle. Just a broad area, and you could just do broad area stuff. You don't have to do specific stuff, and I think that would help people feel a little bit more better too.
Right. There's ways to present things and let us know about things even before it becomes an issue, right? So they can say, and I think they try to say this at the end, this is for the long term of the project. Well, that's cute, but that was after everything else happened, right? But the better way to say that is this is for your investment. This is for the health and the long-term good of the project, meaning it's going to translate into a better investment that you all put money in. And this is how you're going to get the return, even at a much better return for your money. But we haven't heard anything like that or any broad strokes about what their reason is for, these new developments in the Messina.
And I know we got LT too. LT, welcome to the podcast, man. And LT's one of the CETs as well. So, brother, what do you think about the situation? We'd just like to get the community members' thoughts on this. So you have the floor, bro.
LT. Is LT's first time on too? I like his family shows, man. Family.
Let me see if I could give him a role. I thought he had the
You should have everything he needs.
LT, you need to unmute, bro. That's what you need to do. You need to unmute and tell us how you're feeling.
Let's see, PMP.
Or not, shit. I thought LT likes talking. I swear I thought he liked to talk.
I think it might be a mic issue with him. We'll work on it, but
oh, good, man. Yeah. No, I like these family shows, like I was saying. Mm-hmm. I like talking too. If y'all haven't noticed that yet. Did someone go off mute? Or is it just something else? Oh, he's probably leaving and coming back. Oh, Pirre's here. You want to bring Pirre up?
Sure. Let me drag him up real quick.
Man, this is family time. We got this on it. We got an internal agenda, guys. This is family time right now.
Right. We want everybody to get a chance. Pirre, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for joining us.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
How you say your name? Say it for us.
Pirre.
Pirre?
Pirre. Yeah, that's close. That's good. But I know that it's tough for you guys to pronounce. So
no, bro. You don't know, man. I can say things. Pirre?
Pirre. Yeah, perfect.
All right, we're gonna say it right. Pirre. What's up, man?
Yeah, doing good. How are you guys?
Doing well.
We're good. I don't know if you've been listening in, but yeah, we're pretty much talking about the new developments. The Messina, or whatever your thoughts are, man. Overall feeling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I haven't listened. Was having dinner with the family, so just joined in. So yeah, I don't know. It's. I'm a bit disappointed by how it went. After we had been promised a lot of stuff pre-mint. I think the Prime Eternals still have a ton of value. And I, for my part, would have probably bought just as many, knowing what we know today. But it's still less than what has been basically promised or used as marketing for us to buy them. So this is the thing that's kind of disappointing, at least a bit. And that's where I am at. So I think if we're getting what we're getting now, we're still in a good spot. But you still got to wonder if they're taking more away maybe in the future. I don't really think so, but I think that's a valid thought. And
yes.
It's
a trust aspect that's been broken.
Yeah, exactly. And those there are several little things that also just come together. Like the roadmap pre-mint has been super tight, and in hindsight, it seems like it couldn't have been pulled off anyway in that time frame. So
made
to
it
loosen it
seem
up
like
like that.
the project was a lot closer to being completed than it was after Mint, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And little things like maybe AMAs in the updated roadmap. We were promised weekly AMAs and bi-weekly dev chats. And just a bit stuff like that's bothering me that we're not getting. I mean, there's still great stuff out there. I mean, the lore is always great. The Discord events that we're having are great. I love the game nights, although they are not frequented that much. I love the information on breeding we got and all that stuff. So I think, and you've seen the same things I'm seeing. I think there's a ton of upside still in this project and a ton of potential.
Yeah.
But
you just had a whole breeding breakdown too, didn't you?
Yeah, I talked a bit about breeding and showed it in an example of an Excel of a spreadsheet, and recorded it and put it on the community content channel on the CS server.
I haven't quite had a chance to watch it yet, but I'm looking forward to it, man.
I looked into it.
You are a minor genius over here.
With the spreadsheets. I love it.
So
I'm looking forward to it, man.
Pirre, since we have listeners on here, could you just give a quick overview of what you're seeing from breeding and how you feel about it?
Oh yeah, that was some alpha that was dropped. Yeah, that's just now on the Thursday leaks about the breeding.
So I haven't really I know how to calculate it, but I haven't really done a deep dive on what I think is going to be good or not. I think there's still a lot of math to do, and it's quite complex, I guess. But to just have an idea what the probabilities are of certain outcomes if you just have two prime eternals, I think this is doable. And I guess so what I guessed beforehand and what I think has proven to still be true is that the divine parts or the epic parts may be undervalued in regards to breeding, just because the parts that are on certain prime eternals have, depending on purity, about a 40% chance to be passed on. So if you have two prime eternals with a few common parts and a lot of divine and epic parts, well, guess what? The progeny has a good chance of getting a ton of those rarer parts too. So if you...
To get into breeding a little bit, so if you have a divine tail on one and an epic tail on the other, do they have to match? And then your chances of getting an epic tail on the progeny, is that higher? If the parts match themselves,
if you have an epic claw and a divine claw, for instance, doesn't matter really if it's divine or epic, because the chances aren't, those are the same odds to be passed on, and the divine ones are being matched to epic parts. So for the matter of breeding, it doesn't make a difference. But if they are on the same part, you have about an 80% chance of the progeny getting that part as an epic part too. So if you put them together, you maximize your chances of having at least one really good part. On the other hand, if you split it around a bit, you have the chance, of course, if let's say that divine part and that epic part we're talking about are one is on claws, one is on wings. Well, you have the chance, albeit a lower chance, for both parts being passed on. So it's basically having those on the same part is basically the safe play, as the chances are great that it's being passed on, but it has a lower ceiling, as you can pass both on. So if you have these parts spread out a bit, say you have 2D parts on each prime eternal, then you might want to just gamble a bit and say, okay, I'll breed those that don't match, and you have the chance to end up with 4 epic parts. Of course, the chance is higher too to end up with no or just one epic pod. But you have a really high ceiling, and I guess it might be worth it taking this risk because I guess a champion with 4 epic pods will be worth quite a bit.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Little bit of alpha, some insight into that.
Yeah.
So I just want to reiterate real quick, and I know LT's probably trying again, so we want to hear from him too. But one key thing you said is, Pirre, is that you said that we might be losing some trust, right? And so that's where I'm at right now. Is like, okay, we thought we bought under the false pretenses that Prime Eternals were the generator of Messina or exclusive generator. The way to get land is to get Prime Eternals. One other thing that we know to be true, that I hope stays true, is the breeding part of it, right? A lot of the breeding economy, no limit from breeding from Prime Eternals. And correct me if I'm wrong here. That's another part of why it's valuable to home the Prime Eternals at this point. And me personally, I'm starting to lose some trust if that will stay the same also moving forward.
Well, we have which they did say, they're going to have us do it in spurts and kind of like events. So 3 right now, we'll be able to, our limit's 3 right now, but say there's, and I agree with this, right? Because it's in accordance to the economy, how many players we have will dictate how much we can breed. So that we're not having overbreeding, we're not have overpopulating, and then, the ones that we're breeding are just overdiluted and not worth nothing. So I think I hope they stay to that. I think it's a smart thing. I shouldn't be allowed to breed as many as I want because, someone can break the game and they can really hurt our...
Dip, I get that part. The part I'm concerned about, so I'll just say it plainly, is that there's less and less events or no events, and that CA is going to want all the economics on the new progeny as well, and they give us no events. Maybe I'm talking shit, they're going to be like, fuck you, King Dad, you ain't getting shit. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or, it's they could change that too in this case. So, just some trust that's lost. I still think there's a really big upside here, but it's just a lot of trust that I lost in the project.
As it relates to breeding, I think there's a lot of levers that they can pull to balance it out. So I think that's one thing that they're going to stay 100% true on. An example of that is, let's say Prime Eternals have a 1-week cooldown to breed, whereas, let's say the next gen would have a 1.5 or 2 week cooldown, right? And they can just adjust those based on the amount of these extra champions that there are on the market relative to the players that are being onboarded on the project, right? They're going to have data analytics. They do have, teams working on this already. That's going to be looking at the numbers and then balancing things as they go. I think the bigger question is, how often are they going to be looking at these numbers? Are they going to be data dependent? And what are the intervals in between for patches, right? For bug fixes, patches, nerfs, buffs, etc. And I know I'm looking forward here, right? But these are also questions that we need to ask the team.
This is the place for speculation if there's no other place. Don't worry, Brad.
I think in any case, the way I see it is they could screw us over anyway if they wanted with the promises made. In regards to Messina, for instance, they could let us stake 5 Messina per day and have land just cost half a Messina or something like this. So if they balance it out poorly, then even the pre-mint promises of us being the only ones that land has to be bought from, or the Messina token to buy land has to be bought from, then the token will be worth nothing in a few days. So and same basically for breeding, as you said, King Dev. You could easily have no events that reset our breeding limit, or you could have them, I don't know, every 2 months, which would be great, I suppose. So yeah, a lot comes down to the little details we don't know yet, and with the info we have now, or with the info we had pre-mint, in both cases we could we're still pretty dependent on how they put out or balance out the little numbers there.
It's up in the air. That's the main point.
That comes back down to the fact that are investors in this project, right? Like, no matter what has been said in the Discord, when you look at the price of ETH and fiat at the time, Jam City essentially seed funded about $7 million with this mint. So to say us as a group of Prime Eternal holders are not a source of their funding would be it's not true. It's right. Objectively not true, right? They've got a $7 million fund investor right here with the Prime Eternal holders, and
right.
The information has not been forthcoming on how you normally treat your investors, and to leave us ambiguous and even have the opportunity, based on the ambiguity, to look at it and see that they're going to try and take more economic activity away from us, or possibly, I really hope that's not the case, because that's not how you treat investors. And not only would that put a sour taste in any future NFT owners that would want to deal with Jam City in any way, shape, or form, but that's also how you treat your investors. So, I mean, I know they're a huge company. Maybe they don't need investors, but they said they used investors to even get this started before Mint. So,
see, I want to jump in here because Dip might be able to clarify for us. Dip, can you kind of go over like what a capital investor is?
What's up, LT? You made it.
Yeah, it worked. So thanks for having me, guys.
We're still learning. We're good.
Capital investor, to me, just it's the same thing, right? We don't. If I want to play a game, right, on my PS5, which I'm mad because I bought a PS5 game and it doesn't work. You pay $69.99, and I get to play that game, right? I kind of own the assets in that game, right? You got to think about it, right? When they put out you're owning assets, yes, that's true, but man, like, honestly, if I achieved a certain item in a game, and if somebody really wanted that item, I could just download it to a SIM card and sell it to them, and they can use that item on their system or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, like, I came in here investing, around like $20,000. I did that because I saw the capital of investment. I saw the economy. I see how Web3 is the next big thing. It might not be now, but in the next 3 to 5 years, I believe it is going to be, where you could possibly make money off a living. And that's what the capital investing is, right? I put my money in early to a company, believing that the information they put out will be able to generate me back my investment plus some more.
And it's not just to play a video game. I'm not going to cut you off, but you didn't spend $20,000 to play a video game.
No, I didn't. I sure didn't.
Right. Right.
I did it with the sole purposes of, like, just to be a pioneer. Like the guys who bought Amazon at 40 cents, the guys who bought Bitcoin at 5 cents. I wanted to be one of those guys. And it
helps the company. It helps yourself. It helps move technology. It does all that, right? We're doing that in Web3.
And it's all for capital, right? It's all like everybody here. Like, I don't think anybody in our mind would just, oh man, yeah, I want to buy a $1,500 Prime Eternal just to play the game. No, absolutely not.
Right.
We bought it for certain reasons.
Yeah, and basically
anybody that owns more than one Prime Eternal can 100% guarantee you they did not buy it just to play the game.
I agree. I have 45 Prime Eternal. I have 100 Of course.
Yeah, we were already talking about that, Arkham. You need to get on your kids. You need to get some more kids real quick.
Yeah, we gotta send them some honeymoon stuff.
Yeah, the P to kid ratio isn't healthy there.
Yeah, it's if I wanted to, I'm not into it anywhere as much as Dip. But if anybody wanted to spend as much money as they did on a video game as what some of the people who are currently even just on this podcast right now did, they would have bought arcade games and pinball machines and leased a building, because the amount of money that you spend at that point is investment no matter how you look at it.
Well, like even numbers. Let's run those numbers real quick, because we know Ark you're what, like up to like 60K in euro, or if not, that's cool.
Well, me,
Sure.
You
Yeah.
could just put a average
Estimate,
amount
yeah.
of $12 to
45.
$1,500 for 45.
45.
That's yeah.
Oh, we're looking at 100. Oh, in USD.
Right.
Oh, go ahead.
Right. So I'm thinking between all of us here, there's maybe a little bit less than a quarter.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a huge holder. I got a bunch of pets. I got like 16 pets, and I've got 6 Ps. And I'm with Pred on the boat of I'm kind of waiting for something staked on the wall for me to buy in more. And again, I want to clarify because I think that we need props from kind of caller. I think that we need to get acknowledgement on both sides of the fence. Like, for example, I think that we're not getting acknowledgement as some of us might feel as capital investments, and technically that there might be some leeway for the definition there. And at the same time, the team might feel that they're not getting enough acknowledgement for their work because they are a huge company. There's all kinds of departments. Like Ice Toad is one department. You got Masino that's got a different department. And then technically there's 50 or 60 people working on this game. Like that's not a huge amount. So the hurdles that we're having to jump through, we just got to figure out. Web 2 is not going to work because the hoops that even corporate, right now, I work in a company where I'm expected to make certain numbers. But if my software doesn't work, I can't make those numbers, can I? Because I now have one hand tied behind my back. So I think it falls under some pretense like that where they need to get legal approval and then get back to us. And that's where the vagueness and all this comes into. And again, I'm not faulting anybody for this. I'm just... I've been here since December, and you guys know me. I've literally been through rock bottom and bounced back up. Because I bought into this project with a friend of mine. I got my P. It got stolen because I didn't know what I was doing. I was literally venturing into, what is Web3? And in these past 6 months, I've self-taught myself everything. Like, I don't want to say I'm an expert or anything, but I know a little bit about, I think, a lot of stuff. So there's been multiple times where I think I've approached either the community or whoever have you to kind of either build a bridge. I don't usually come to people with a problem if I don't have a solution for that problem. And I think some of you guys are the same way. Like, I don't like having a conversation where I just go back and forth complaining about shit and like, oh, this is terrible and this sucks and blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, well, we know that. But let's try to like move past on from that and build it forward. Like, I love what Ark is doing with his file. I think that's a phenomenal job because it eliminates what the underlining factor is of speculation. Speculation can either be your asset or it can be your downfall. Are you guys familiar with sailing at all? I'm going to kind of, venture a little bit off here, but if you get
on a boat, no, go ahead.
Yeah. Like, if you get barnacles in the hull of your boat, that slows your boat down. So eventually, you got to beach somewhere and reassess and get all that crap off your boat so you can get back out. And I think that's where we're at. Because we picked up so much crap along the way that never got addressed that it kind of bulked up and just exploded. So now we're beached and we kind of have to reassess and get back. And I'm not saying this in a negative way. I'm just saying it from a strategic point, and for everybody, for the team, for the community, for everybody. Am I making sense?
Yeah, I'm following.
Are you guys familiar with the movie The Founder at all?
No.
Okay, so you should watch it. So The Founder is essentially how McDonald's was made.
Oh, I did see that. My man's a,
so you understand the principle
savage.
Behind...
Ray Kroc.
Okay, but you understand the principle behind, and I'm not faulting anything or bringing FUD or anything like that. That's the last thing I want to do. I'm simply trying to clarify as to where the holes in the ship are. Because if you do control the land something's built on, you control everything.
Oh, yeah, that's what that was about. Where he's like,
yeah, exactly.
This isn't a food company. This is a real estate company.
what he did was essentially he went to these two guys that invented the whole system, had everything running. It was great. He knew that they were going to do big. He essentially signed a contract with them where he was going to represent them and expand, but he would do it under their controls. So the way he worked around that is he bought the land that he built the McDonald's on expanding, so everything's under his name technically.
Which is the main. I think I started the show off before all this, and I'm sorry about my negativity. Like, excuse my negativity here. But before all of this is like, I started the show off saying the main reason I got in here with the Prime Eternal was the way to get the land. Like, that was really it. Y'all have to complain. I'm trying to do the land part of the game. But go ahead.
When I read that was my determining factor of buying in. But what I'm getting at is, okay, cool. Messina's a continent. Like, think of Game of Thrones. Okay, Messina City is a speck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that we should have this kind of issue with, what's the word I'm looking for? Distribution. If we've got a whole fucking globe to expand to. Like, there should be farmland that you would literally need to have, like, certain resources. Do you follow?
Yeah.
You said, LT, that there's going to be other land. Like, and they released the map that was the entire. They made it seem like Messina was one continent, but that was the entirety of the world, right? But the city of Messina was just a small portion of that. It was very big. Not only that, but they have the moon, and they've already talked about there being like caverns upon caverns upon caverns underneath the land, right? Like pretty much infinite dungeons down there, which we've already speculated about possibly having an infinite dungeons where you can make your own stuff, like buy it, and you buy it with the Messina, which we even talked about this, buying it with Messina in the podcast, right? So like, that's the big thing is like, it's totally fine. We knew there was going to be a bunch of other land, but it was always under the consideration that land was only purchasable with Messina.
Yeah,
and
so what I'm getting at is if the consideration of, okay, you're going to have other land available to public, all right, let's talk about that. So and personally, again, I'm not bringing negativity or anything. We're just having conversations because I think that's the best way to move forward. It's just being clear in conversation, and you win this way, we win this way. This is what's bad. This is what's bad for you. You know what I mean? So if you're going to have land available to the public, you can either form some kind of independent DAO where you can fractionize where that liquidity goes. Or you can do the other thing and just give the newcomers flea bottom. You know what I mean? Just give them the shit land. Because if you're buying in and you didn't have to do what we had to do and wait here for 9 months or whatever have you, or strategize or whatever
We've
comes to mind.
We've already got our own DAO going with the CET. I mean, the only thing that we haven't been doing is actually earning DAO tokens as for actual voting utility, right? Like, I don't think nobody's really touched on the subject that I've read at all in the Discord, and I was going to say something about it a week or two ago, but I was just like, this is too deep right now.
Well, it's not a DAO has like blockchain attached to it. CT is just like
that's the thing. The CET is the bones of the skeleton for a DAO. Like, if we were just to essentially give the DAO attachment to the actual CA and give people who were Prime Eternal holders that essentially the staking power of retroactive staking, and give them DAO tokens, that we would essentially have a DAO with the primes being the holders. But when you do that you give great, the man. DAO a lot of...
You're living in a utopia. Like, that's a great suggestion.
I know.
Yes, but great. I'm sure that won't happen.
That's the thing. Is a DAO, you give a lot of authority over your project, right? Then you become a true decentralized project, and that takes away the ownership from Champions Ascension and Jam City, which I don't see them doing at all.
Right.
Well, it's essentially not a DAO, just like I was just stating the example to build off of. You know what I mean? Like, if I tell you, hey, let's build a NASCAR, there's always a skeleton to go off of, and then you kind of build from there. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the same implication of a DAO, but something along the lines where it's there. It's there for everybody to see, clear as day, and it benefits both parties because, as you said, if it's an ever expanding game, there's not going to be a need to fight over the land in that sense because they can literally just create new land every 6 months.
But then they're gonna do what they didn't want to do with the breeding. Like there can't be then they'll flood the market with land.
They'll have to control that just like they would the breeding.
I think the biggest thing is that, and I think everybody be in agreement here is, number one, where's the founder's land going to be located? Number two,
100%.
How is it going to differ from regular land, right? Because there has to be a significant big difference in founders
advantage
right,
for founders land
for them wanting that founders land, right? From people like, hey, a guy comes in here and he's like, you know what, man, like I want to buy one of your founders land from you. I see there's this other land available from ETH, but the stuff that you guys are providing with your founders land, I just see as much better. Those are the biggest selling points we're going to need.
Better utility
to be relegated. We don't need to be relegated to a sideshow. We don't need to be, when you go to the fair, one of those side booths that only takes the special fair dollars, right? That's not going to benefit us, and is actually doing a huge detriment to the investors in this project.
Yeah.
Right. So,
guys, actually, if you don't mind, I also have something quick to say about it. I think for the generation of the Messina token, I think that it's pretty clear in their message that only the Prime Eternal are going to be able to generate the Messina coin. Okay, when it's about generation, I'm saying, now they are saying that they are looking at ways to let other champions earn Messina coin, but whatever Messina coin other champions will earn will have been generated earlier by Prime Eternal. So let me just give you an example. If Champions Ascension owns like 100 Prime Eternals, then every day by staking those 100 Prime Eternals, they can generate Messina coin, and they might use the Messina coin they generated daily the way they want. So if they want to make it like a reward for a tournament that they organize, I'm fine with that, because this is still in line with the promises that we had at the beginning. So to me, this point, I'm clear with this point, and I'm fine with this point. And for me, there is no question. This is my understanding. And once again, so if other people don't have the same understanding, my point is just jump on the file and put the question you still have, and they will try to answer it. Now, the two topics that are remaining is the first one is. Can we buy land? Like, I'm not going to say buy, I'm going to say mint. Can we mint land with something else than Messina? If yes, then we have a lot of things to clarify here, because how much, is it like 10% of all the lands in Messina and 90% that you can buy in Ethereum or whatever other, right. Because that will suck for us, Prime Eternal, because it means we, on the Monopoly game we were supposed to play, then we are only left with 10% of the Monopoly street that we could be purchasing, and that sucks. That's my feeling.
That's a major question, you're right. Like, are we going to be kind of just quarantined into one area, one corner of the map that doesn't have any better utility than the rest? And,
like I said, sideshow. We don't want to be relegated to the sideshow. That's
exactly. And
if I would, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. I finish quickly and then I'll let you go. The second topic is they are saying that the Messina coin is not just gonna be used to purchase land. The major sink of the Messina coin is gonna be used to build on the lands. Okay, and so the second questions I have is. This Messina coin used to build, is it only we are gonna use it only on the minted land with Messina or on every land? You see where I'm going?
Yeah. Is that used exclusively to develop all over Messina? Even for the people that buy an ETH, do they need Messina token to develop on their land?
I think that's the case. The only thing that kind of acts that is, what if I don't want to upgrade my land? Like, what if I just want the land?
Well, but you're not gonna get anything out of your land if you. So no, my point is that if people can buy lands that with Ethereum, but then they need to get those machine coins to build, buildings on it, then we are not in such. I mean, I'm not gonna say we're not in a bad position. We are in a bad position, but it's not as bad as it could be.
Right.
I agree.
There's a demand.
What if I'm like a whale? And
Point.
again, I'm playing devil's advocate. Forgive me for this, guys. It's something I do.
Okay.
So what if I have like a bunch of ETH and I come in and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take like 12 ETH and I'm gonna buy land and just hold it. I'm not gonna upgrade it. I just want to hold it and see what happens.
Well, that's fine. Then you're speculating on land. You plan to sell it for a little bit more if it goes up, or you take a loss on it.
The biggest thing is, I think we really have to do. We have to study about casual gamers, right? Because you got to think. Champions Ascension is going to offer minigames, combat, open world, RPG, right? All that stuff's attractive to a casual gamer. Now, me as a casual gamer coming into the market, I might buy the cheapest land I can get just because I want to play all those modes in the game and just maybe have a little piece of land, right? The casual gamer is going to do that, right? If you think about anybody who's going to be investing a lot into the game, it's going to be a Web3 investor. And what are those investors looking for? Profit, right? If you want to attract a casual gamer, you got to expect what a casual gamer's habits are going to be. Casual gamer's going to want to play combat. Casual gamer's going to want to do MMORPG stuff. And they'll probably participate in any of the events like Guild Wars or whatever you want to say it.
Yeah, they want to upgrade their character too, buy armor, buy some, some skins, some swords.
Right, so land might not be the top priority for a casual gamer, right? They might not buy it, or they might buy the cheapest one and just hold it.
They might even just scholarship, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
let me maybe add a... Yeah,
so in any case, even if we had the full control of the entire monopoly, like as Prime Eternal, let's say we would be the only one to buy any type of land in the game in the future, I don't really see where is the problem here. Here's why. Of course, if we have like 200 lands, at some point we're going to be like, I can't handle all those lands, so I'm going to sell some because this is way too much, so I'm just going to sell some. But the thing is that by doing this, it means that the money is going to us, and this is the biggest difference here. Money is not going in the same pockets.
I'm a poor boy in Florida. Bruh, the car I'm driving, I need a new car.
Yeah, me too.
Win Lambo, right?
I need a Lambo.
That's all an LT's mine.
WEN, bro.
These are all good points. I mean, everything that we've said is good points, and we can. All it's going to be though until we get information from Jam City is speculation. I think Arkham's Wild is going to do a good job with that. I know the CET is going to continue to do a good job with that. And I mean, if Jam City and Champions Ascension listens to anything, it's just listen to your community. Right. Don't just blow the community off. I was listening to some of our old episodes recently, and like they've a few of the devs themselves. I'm not going to call anyone out specifically, but a few of the devs themselves have openly said on our podcast like that they want feedback from the community. That's how they make the project better. So listen to that feedback. You know what I mean? That's all we could say. Listen to the feedback. Take it as constructive criticism. Sometimes it's people venting. But, listen to the feedback part. Like, you don't have to absorb everything, and I know sometimes it's hard separating what from what, but a lot of the people that are still left in our community that are active are very intelligent people and can professionally and concisely get across their message, which can then be separated from any other opinion or personal emotion that is going to be human from everybody on both sides of the fence, right? But, I mean... From there, like, I would just like to thank the couple people who joined us today, Pred, Arkham, Pirre, LT. I mean, do you guys have any last thoughts that you want to give us before we have the Prime Minds just kind of wrap up the episode?
We wanted to talk a little bit about the slice, but I think Dip was going to say something. We want to get some info on. We want to get something about the slice. Is just coming. That's a big event in 3 or 4 days coming up.
Right.
Yeah, I think we're
gonna talk about that.
Yeah, sure. Just quick minded thought, like, just coming from a professional level. Anything we say on here, team, and I'm talking to the CA team, because honestly, we love you guys, dude. Like,
100%, bro.
You guys are. Hold on.
I'm sure everyone here understands how hard it is to do everything they do. You know what I mean?
Right. And real quick, all of this it's constructive criticism, but it really just come with the territory, right? Anything you do, you're gonna have to answer for the changes you make or anything. Doesn't mean no one doesn't like you and doesn't like the job you're doing, or we're not appreciating you. We appreciate everything you do for us, definitely. We just want you guys to be the best. And I think that's everybody in here on our mind. We want you guys to be the best, because when you guys are your best, we're going to be at our best. And
not even, bro. Nothing comes close.
So that's just my little piece that, a lot of team members, a lot of community members are going through stuff, man. Everybody has IRL stuff. Some people take their emotions out on Discord, right? Just because, they kind of feel safe doing it, and which you kind of want to promote that, but just do it in a simple way. Like, for instance, I'll just give a little suggestion out for CA. Steezy Ape Gang, very good community. These guys are doing amazing things in the space. Anytime you have a problem, you have a question or something, they have you submit a support ticket, which, you get a little chat, and one of the mods or something, you'll have your question in there, your concerns in there. That way, that concern doesn't hit the general chat. That concern doesn't hit welcome to Messina, right? Because new people coming into the project, seeing stuff like that, like the stuff that's happened in the last week. If I was a new person coming in, I'll be like, oh man, this is a lot. I'm leaving, right? That's just the initial thought. So that could help to clean up things more. And I think it would do you guys a lot of good. But that's just a suggestion, and that's all I wanted to say.
That's a good suggestion, man. And I know they actually promote putting in some of those support tickets too, even for like some positive things. Right? So, no, that's good. Do you want to talk about the slice? Well, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say I agree. I was also going to suggest, I know we've brought it up maybe once or twice about talking to tokenomics or the legal team. You guys have dealt with legal probably more than I have. I know that they're extremely busy, and it's a issue for them to kind of take away time from whatever they're doing. But once a month, 10 minutes, 15 minutes with the community would completely turn the boat, if that makes any sense.
I guess legal stuff, man. Like, sure, but tokenomics, really, there's two aspects to the game. It's playing the game, and it's the tokenomics. They can leave. Because
I'm sure my point is, if tokenomics is there, I'm sure legal's gonna want to oversee in some way.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the gameplay, the slice is coming out. I'm glad we got some OG holders on here, people that know about the gaming and it's keeping up. Did everybody submit their chance to be in the slice?
Yeah, man. I made a golden ticket.
Really welcome.
Yeah, of course.
Done.
Yep. Of course.
Yeah.
Put in my
I'm
vote
excited.
for,
if I get in, I'm sorry, guys. I apologize. If I get in, I'm not telling anybody.
Like, tell us.
They're gonna announce it. I'm pretty sure. You can't hold that information back.
Yeah, and honestly,
right.
If I don't get it, it's fine, totally fine. I want people that are really involved in the community to have it though, because I would like to. We want the right feedback, right? Because this whole process is for them to get the bugs out before we take it to Dr. Disrespect. If that's in the plans. I want our bugs to be worked out by then.
Right.
Dr. Disrespect. Is that a person? That's a good name.
Yeah.
That is a big name.
It's on the latest leak video. It kind of alludes. They've got someone in a costume that looks like Dr. Disrespect.
Exactly.
So, he's a major streamer.
We have Snoop on board.
Huh?
Yeah, but those are I don't think Snoop or Champ registered. I highly doubt it. But
it's
again,
not
those are not the people that you want to be having the first opportunity to look at it, because as quite a few people have said, and like I've done game testing previously, like they this is to get the bugs out for them, man. Like, it's gonna be awesome for us to be able to get in there and do these things, but like, it's gonna be choppy, right?
Yeah,
especially
100%.
for the first 20. Like that first 20, I don't think it would be a good idea to have any kind of influencers in the first 20, especially if it's only going to be a week or two before they bring in another 60 people.
Correct.
So
Are you guys running towers or tops?
I got towers.
Yeah.
And I got laptops. I know I'm not getting in. I think the only one here who has, or on the Prime Minds who had an opportunity would have been Dip based on the
specs. Yeah.
Yes.
You Max and I know I'm not getting in. Stop it, Mac. You deserve it more than most people, bro. And I'm gonna be real fucking everybody. There is not 20 people that's active in the fucking Discord, and there's not 20 people that has contributed to this fucking project. There's not more than 20. They might snub 2 or 3 people if they're trying to get 20 people in. But that's just being fucking real.
You got to remember too, though, Dav, is we got the international community as well, right?
Yeah.
So like, I really hope they give a good 4 to 5 spots to the international community at least.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
When they asked for the time zone though, so you don't know when they are going to hold the event. I think it's that's something to consider. If you say you have people in, let's say, the Philippines, and it's like 3 a.m. in the morning, then I think that will be tough for most to get to. So I think this is a factor.
Do we have info on that? Do we know how long the slice will be up for the first day? And they'll take it down? Okay.
No.
So it'll be up then down, and then up again the next day? We don't know.
We don't even know that.
They'll let you know. Yeah. They'll probably like send you a link or tell you to connect to the website or something at a certain time, and then they'll just run the diagnostics and whatever they have you do.
And it truly will be also quite dynamic. I mean, there's a reason they only invite 20 at the beginning to see if the networking and everything works. And if they don't have issues, maybe the next day that they'll invite the next batch already. But if there are issues, then they might say, okay, we need to analyze those. Being a programmer myself, the devil is in the detail. In those things, so it's sometimes hard to find the one little detail that makes everything break, and you can't really put a timeline on it. Sometimes you might see it right away, and you know exactly what it is after seeing a certain log entry or whatever. And in some cases, you're busy for days just to find that little bug that's in there. So I guess
they already said it's only going to be open from Thursday through Sunday when they do open slice.
Correct.
Even larger anyways, right? So you got to expect it's probably only going to be weekend stuff.
Well, no, I'm wondering if they're going to leave it open and leave it open, or they're going to close it on Thursday certain time and open it back up on Friday at a certain time. But that's just, I'm getting to too much in the details. But I was going to say it's pretty cool that CA has a built-in community for game testing. That's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, there's a lot of positive things. Like, there is definitely, like, and I give them all the credit in the world, man. These guys are just great at what they do, right? Not everybody's perfect. Even the community, we're not perfect too. Everybody's you're humans. We all.
I don't know, bro.
You know,
speak for yourself, bro. King Dash kind of perfect.
King Dash a machine over here, bro.
right. And the biggest thing is, you know, I'll even use my guy Arkham's word. No more cold showers. We don't like cold showers, right? And a cold shower is something that's just so shocking. You can't even.
Well, you're supposed to take a cold shower, and you probably know this, Deb. You take cold showers to either replenish muscle or to close your pores. So you're usually taking a warm shower before you take the cold shower.
Well, just an analogy, right? Like a cold shower.
Really?
Like when you first get in a cold shower, your breath like you're like hyperventilating because it's so damn cold. That's the kind of thing that you know, when
it's shock.
It's a shock, right?
That's what it is.
I think if we can try to lessen that a little bit, I think we'll be good.
Right. What did you say? Are you guys still excited about the way the game looks? I mean, that's it for me. What do you guys think,
bro?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the graphics are great. Like, honestly, if you look at any play-to-earn game that's developing or anything, we by far are a AAA game. Like,
I know.
yeah. And that's why I'm holding, boys. Like, and I told the Prime Minds, this is my plan, 3 to 5 years, guys. Ups and downs, negatives and positives. Like, I'm here. And it's like a relationship, you know. It's not gonna be roses and flowers all the time. Sometimes you're gonna have a little bit of fight. Sometimes you're gonna have disagreements. But at the end of the day, you know, we're in this marriage with CA, and we're gonna continue to keep doing it.
They gotta treat us better, like they love us. I need to feel loved and appreciated. But let's do that. Like, so, how about final thoughts, man, from everybody, our new guests especially. LT, how you feeling holding now? How you feeling in the long term, even with some of this new reverse alpha that came out?
Well, I mean, the question was for me was never holding. I'm like you, like I'm here for the long run. I sailed from India and I'm heading to America with a galleon. Like, it's gonna take a while, you know what I mean? But I know that the integrity. I bought into this project because I doxed Jam, and I was like, okay, this is a great team. This is why I'm getting behind this. Obviously, the coffin and the nail for me to jump in was when I read certain perks and stuff. But yeah, like, I want to clarify, it's not that I don't trust CA. I just lost a little bit of confidence, and I think we all did, and that's all we're trying to address. We're not distrustful or questioning in that sort of way. We're just trying to clarify.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I spoke for everybody.
No, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it. I'm pretty much distrustful, but I get where you're coming from. I guess it's a spectrum, right? We'll see. Hopefully, I come back. But I see where you're from too, man. I like giving the benefit of the doubt, like when it counts. Be there.
You know, prove me right and prove you wrong, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Please.
Like, that's like where we're all at is. We just want to be on a good note and move forward and keep going.
You can't help how you feel. It's just how I feel right now. Peter, how you feel?
100%. And you're not wrong for it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, still feeling good. I think I even bought 2 in the last week or 2, so still bullish overall. I mean, we got promised Ferraris. If I remember the early AMAs. Right now we may be standing at a Mercedes, which is still great. Yeah, and I'm quite optimistic. Yeah, I'm quite optimistic we don't end up having a Prius or something. So yeah, I guess a lot of things is fluid, and the communication, which parts are up for change and which aren't, hasn't been great. And yeah, it has of course led to a lot of conjecture. But yeah, from I've read one thing. Reading in the chats, I saw, okay, guys, you're assuming just so much. Maybe we shouldn't give you, or we should give you less info and just when it's finished. I think it should be to the contrary. If you don't want to have assumption, give information. Informed people don't have to assume things. So I guess we just have to learn how to talk to each other and how to communicate with each other. And this goes from CA to the community and vice versa. And I think if we manage to get more concise with our communication, then we're in a good spot.
I agree.
Yeah, people said we could all do better. I think so too. Arkham, give us some gems, man. How you feeling? And Arkham, you're holding some beautiful primes, man. Congrats on that.
Thanks. Yeah. I'm very excited about the slice. So that's one thing. I'm excited about the breeding alpha that they dropped lately. I mean, really excited. I really like also the graphics of it. So that's another thing. I'm looking forward to the CET meeting we have tonight, because I hope we might be able to organize, the way we communicate a little bit better with Jam City. So this is the the goal. So I hope everything is gonna go well about it, and maybe we'll get a few answers about the delayed staking reward. The pending reward, maybe. So I'm pretty excited. I really think we can. It's good that we have been discussing, and it's good that we had all this FUD thing. Because in a way, all the things that didn't really work perfectly, now it's perfectly clear, and we know what we have to do to work on it. And I think that's what we are doing. And let's go, let's do it. Let's just deal with it, and I'm sure everything will go well after that.
And,
right, we'll get past it.
What's the time for the CET meeting today?
It's in 1 hour and 30 minutes.
Oh, nice. That's an open meeting?
Yes,
I should know this.
I'll be there.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I'll listen in. I'm not talking. I'll listen in.
And then some Halo 2 hours after that for anybody that still wants to get in. They're doing some Halo later today, too.
Nice.
Still have time to go buy an Xbox, Staff.
I was a sweat in Halo 2. Y'all don't want to see me. You guys want to see me 20.
Top 10.
You guys want to see me 20 years ago. I was in the top 10, man. Double team. Look me up. Nah. Okay. Dip, how you feeling, man? Keep it going. How you feeling, bro?
Yeah, sure, man. I feel real good, man. There's gonna be bumps in the road, right? And even with the team, no one's perfect. Community's not perfect either. We're all human beings. We all have emotions. At the end of the day, do I believe they have the ability to scale towards a big audience? Yes. Are there some things we need to work on? Yes. Do we need to implement a little bit more of Web3 as in transparency? Yes. Do I believe that will get worked out? Yes.
Ooh, I like that answer.
Yeah, I have confidence in the team, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, these guys are under a lot of pressure too, right? I can just imagine
Yeah.
being the forefronts of this game. No one's ever done this before, right? People have done it, but it wasn't sustainable. So I have confidence. I just think we all need to be on the same page together. Team, community, we can get better from here, man. So I'm just looking forward to the future, looking forward to what this game is going to bring to us, what value it's going to bring to our primes. And hopefully in 5 years from now, we're in our Mercedes AMG, and we're talking about this laughing.
AMG, and I don't even know what that is, bro. Like, I gotta look that up. It's probably something dope.
Special class Mercedes.
Okay, all right, okay. Mac, let us know something, man. Tell us something.
Oh man, so I think one of the big things that no one really got into realizing, and I don't know if I've said this before, but like this is their first attempt at Web3 is it's been Web3 form for sure. Web3, the definition pretty much in my mind would be, you eliminate the middleman. You have a direct line of communication from developers to the end users and vice versa, right? Which it has been. That we are supposed to be the gamers, and we've literally had developers on here with us, the people who are running this stuff. And they've not only seen the positives of that, but there's also negatives as well. You are kind of on the flip side putting yourself in a retail position. And I personally hate retail jobs because I hate the public. People in general can be very stupid, right? And I'm a person too, so that means I know I can be very stupid at times. But that's the thing that I don't think this team was ready for. They've always been the developers who are back in a room and they've developed the game and push it out, and they didn't even have direct communication to their game testers, pre-alpha game testers. They would most likely have someone communicating, talking to the game testers, collating all the data to bring back to the developers. So, like, this is the first opportunity for not only us as users of the game and investors in this project, but this is the first time that the team themselves have ever had to deal with the end users, the team themselves have ever had to deal with people that actually invested and supposed to be getting a say in the way that this game is going and developed, and the entire process in general is what we were sold on in the Medium article pre-mint, right? So like this is all an experiment, and we want to continue to, foster a good environment for this experiment to blossom and produce good results. So let's try and do that, but also remember that everyone's, like Dip said, an individual, and we're all human, so
yeah,
we got to take that in consideration too. I am still bullish on the project, just like pretty much everyone here has already said. We're still in it for the long haul, but like in the short term, let's try and turn this around and make it not a toxic situation. Let's get some information. Please, if anybody from Gem City is still even listening to our podcast,
I doubt.
Don't just treat us as gamers. Treat us as investors as well, because it's objectively undeniable that we have invested. That is what you sold us. That is the contract that we entered in when we minted Prime Eternals, essentially. It was implicit and an explicit contract. So stick to what we all want, and let's make a fucking amazing community and awesome game together.
Let's go. Yeah, I appreciate Dip and everybody saying, especially we can get better, both sides, community, devs, everything. In communication, too, and I'm going to stop asking for communication because I asked for it so many times. Like, I just hate repeating myself. But yeah, I think a big part of that is what can help this community just be a lot better, like, continue to get better. And I got to say, like, I'm super proud of us, right, out here just talking, because we're not just making shit up, right? Like, we're not just grabbing shit out of thin air and turning it into something it's not. If there's some type of response that's a negative response from the community, it's literally coming from somewhere, right? So this is, like, there's an input to this output. So it's just not all on us for having questions. With all that said, I'm gonna keep this short. Is like, I'm still a holder. I'm holding still. I have 9 total primes. I'm not a big whale, I'm a little dolphin or whatever. But I have the 9 primes. I'm holding them. I might look into even getting more. I still think there's a big upside here, and I'm still here for the long haul. I just think that, we have to do better. With all that said, man, I want to give a big shout out to Ark, Pirre, LT coming up on the show. I think we're going to do some more of these family episodes. This feels good. I like talking and connecting with everybody that's holding too, and just looking at perspectives. And let's go, boys. I'll see you all a little bit later in the Discord and at the CET meeting. All that said, I think we're all in agreement here today. As you know, as always, Prime Minds think alike. We're out.
Bye.